Hi, welcome back. You're tuned into Midcap Radar on CNBC TV18. Well, Greenpanel Industries posted a good set of Q1 FY22 numbers. Of course, that was also on a low base. We are joined by Venkatramani, who's the CFO of the company. Sir, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, Q1, of course, looked good because of the low base that we saw, but you did see some quarter-on-quarter decline. Can you give us an idea of how demand has panned out so far in July, and how are realizations in Q1 if we compare it to previous quarters?
The situation is improving in the month of July. We saw the improvement happening from around the middle of June, and we are seeing month-on-month improvement in July. So hopefully we'll carry the momentum onwards. As far as realizations are concerned, we saw a 12% improvement in MDF domestic realizations and a 6% improvement in export realizations. And going forward, international prices have moved up substantially. So export realizations should be increasing by about 20% in this quarter.
Okay, 20% improvement in export realizations. What is your domestic export split?
Approximately about 70-30.
Okay, so 70 is from exports or 70 is from domestic?
70 is domestic.
Okay, okay.
Right. Can you, I mean, if export demand is pretty strong, and which markets are these export markets, sir?
Primarily the Middle East and then the Southeast Asian markets. We are now also getting orders from Europe, South Korea, etc.
And would you characterize export environment, demand conditions, pricing, etc., to be much stronger than what you're able to get here locally?
No, domestic realizations are far better than exports. But since the domestic markets are absorbed, we are also focusing on the export markets. But our priority will always be the domestic markets.
I mean, for the rest of the year, if things here, I mean, the last phase of so-called unlock is, I mean, it's expected to take a lot more time for things to come back to say pre-COVID kind of levels. So if things drag here locally, are you in a position to focus a lot more of your output to the export market? Can you reorient it quickly, or you think the split will remain the same? I'm talking near term, yes. Next 2 quarters.
Yeah, that's always a possibility. So if the domestic markets take time to improve, possibly that ratio could move to 60% domestic and 40% exports.
Okay. All right. You did speak about how realizations will be increasing for exports. There has been an increase in realization in the domestic market as well. What would it mean for your margins? In Q1, it was around 22.2%. Earlier, you had guided for around 23 to 24% margins. Will you be able to exceed it considering the realization increase?
No. Raw material costs have also moved up, and so have logistic expenses, both on the domestic as well as the export side. So I think, yes, we'll continue to target that blended margin of 23 to 24% for both the segments, MDF and plywood put together.
Sir, I just wanted to understand the industry numbers. What is the quantum of MDF demand in the country? How much of it is met domestically? Is there any CVD or ADD that has been announced? And if it has been, how much did it help, or how much will it help the industry?
Okay, at present, there is no ADD or CVD except for ADD on imports from Vietnam. And Vietnam, in any case, is not exporting to India because, the furniture exports have gone up substantially, shifting from China. So their MDF demands have gone up in the domestic markets. So, and anyway, because of logistics, freight costs, and also increase in international prices, the focus has shifted from India. So imports are very low presently, and I think that will continue to be the picture for the balance of the year. On the ADD and CVD issues, so like the government has already taken a decision not to extend ADD on thin MDF imports, and the matter for CVD is under consideration currently. So possibly we could expect some development on that within the next month or two.
And the first part of the question, which my colleague asked, in terms of the industry structure, how much is MDF right now? What is the demand? How much is it growing by? Can you provide some numbers?
MDF domestic capacities are approximately between 1.8 to 2 million cubic meters currently. And domestic market size would be approximately about 1.7 million cubic meters.
Okay. And how much is the dependence on imports? Last question before we let you go, sir.
Very, very low. Like I mentioned, because of logistics issues, steep increase in ocean freight rates, and also increase in international prices, imports are very low currently.
How much is the demand annually growing by? MDF demand? Overall?
Yeah, about 15 to 18% in the domestic markets.
Okay. And you know, what are the, are there any big factors to watch which can sort of either disrupt this 15-18% growth that you're talking about, or accelerate this growth? I mean, which are the big...
I think yes, going forward in the medium to long term, we should see a substantial acceleration. Online furniture retailing has already started in India. Currently, volumes are low, so most of the furniture is being imported from neighboring countries. But with increase in demand, we feel that both domestic and international manufacturers would set up large automated furniture manufacturing plants in India. And that would really contribute to the growth of MDF as a product. Because the other alternative is plywood, and most of the plywood manufactured in India is not suitable as a raw material in these automated plants.
Okay, all right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those details. So that's the word coming in from Greenpanel. But the markets have recovered a tad bit from the lows of the day. But we'll do one thing, we'll slip into a short break. We'll get you more on the markets and stock specific action on the other side of the short break. Stay tuned.